Hey there crew, it's Mark from Mark Your Pages, and in today's video, I want to show you a weekly overview that you can do to help you pay attention to where you're spending your time. If at the end of the week you're like, I didn't get a lot of stuff done this week, but I felt like I had more time than I did, but you're not quite sure where it goes, this daily overview and even weekly overview that we're going to create today should really help you out in uncovering some of those things that are getting in your way. Not only are we going to create a real quick daily view that'll take a look at your calendar as well as your task and notes that you have going for the day, but we're also going to be color coding some important things we want to pay attention to, and then add those into our daily to really focus on where am I spending my time during these weeks. For the materials for today, you're going to need your notebook. I'm going to be using a desk pad just to show these examples today. You are going to need a pencil because we are going to be creating a little bit of a visual look. It's going to be minimal, but you're still going to want to make sure that if you make any mistakes, you can erase it easily with a pencil. We'll be filling in those pencil lines afterwards with a fine liner. Then we have a pen just to fill out during the week. And then I actually have 3 different colors of collagraphs here that I'm using. The purpose of these 3 colors will be to identify and label things on our time block view, on our dailies, and that way at the end of the week we can go ahead and just quickly identify those areas. And we'll be setting up those color blocks in the meetings in just a moment. This page is going to be broken up into 3 different parts. Over here on the far left-hand side, this is where we're going to go ahead and set up our daily schedule. I'm going to start from 9 o'clock all the way until 5 o'clock, and each one of those hours is going to have 2 blocks. Sometimes my meetings are broken down into 30-minute increments versus full hours, and I like the ability to split them easily if I need to. This is a B5 size. Again, this is where you might have to adjust a little bit, but we're going to leave about 10 spaces from the edge of our schedule over to our first line. This line is just going to separate our schedule from all of our notes and tasks that are going to happen during the day. I leave about this many spaces because it's all about labeling and identifying. No long form notes are going to go over here. It's just going to say a meeting or a topic or a work block. That's all that's going to go here. I'm going to leave more space on the far right hand side because this is where my task, my notes, all of those things for the dailies are going to go. One thing to remember is to adjust the schedule based on your needs. If you start earlier in the day and end later in the day and you still want to track these things, just make sure to give yourself enough space to be able to do that. Generally, we have a rule at work that no meetings start before 9 o'clock. So while I might have things to do earlier in the day, I'm really going to focus in on what's happening during the actual busy work day. Before we get started with our week, we need to decide what are the 3 or 4 main things that we want to be focusing in on and paying attention to and tracking during the week. In this case, I have 3 main things I want to focus on. I'm using the brush end of my collagraph for this, and we're using this slate blue. And for me throughout this week, slate blue is going to represent meetings. Typically, my meetings tend to be project-based, but there might be some other ones that I have to pay attention to. And that way, at the end of the week, I can just add up how much time am I spending in meetings throughout the week. The next thing that I want to pay attention to are going to be my work blocks. Meetings are important, other things happen as well, but it's even more important that I'm making time for myself to get the work done that needs to be done during that week. And the last color I'm going to add is going to be jungle green, and this color is going to be something that's going to represent distractions. You know those requests that come in last minute or someone asks you to do something that's going to take you out of your workflow? This is something personally that I want to pay attention to, and anytime that that's happening after I'm accomplishing that task or doing that work that's taking away from my main focus, I'm going to mark that on top of my schedule here. That way I can know at the end of this week how much time I'm spending with random distractions, these last minute things that come through or these fire drills that are happening versus the work that I'm actually planning. A quick tip if you want to have something that kind of pops out of your pages as you're going through, you can use some washi tape and put your key over here. And that way, as you're working, you can have that out to pay attention to what's happening during your week. But when it's not, you can go ahead and just tuck it away real quick and continue with your work. So everything is set up for the week. So let's go ahead and take a look how Monday and Tuesday turned out from this week. All right, so after we've gone through our 2 days of doing this, let's go ahead and take a look at where we're spending our time and start adding some of that up for ourselves so that we can better reflect on how much time and what's taking us away from getting our work done. All right, on Monday, as we kick things off during the week, we had some onboarding that needed to happen, as well as review time for one of the sites that's being set up for the 80 year Now, onboarding for me is a little bit more of a work block because I'm working with someone. I know that needs to happen. It can move if it needs to, but luckily it didn't have to. And then also just time for me to review something because we do have a big event that's coming up with our 80-year page release. We also have a number of meetings that are happening throughout the day as well. That's just normal, as well as all of my tasks and notes that needed to happen for Monday. And then Tuesday, much busier day. A number of work blocks that needed to be added inside of here, but we also have a lot of distractions that are also happening throughout these days. And like I mentioned earlier, that's something that we want to pay attention to. What I love about these visuals is we can clearly see where most of my time is being spent during the week. Even just from these 2 days, you see a lot of time that is spent in meetings. We do have some work blocks, but they're kind of scattered throughout the day. And we have a number of distractions that are happening during the week as well. Taking a little bit of a deeper look, I'm seeing that a lot of these have to do with access issues and tools. This may be something that I can reflect on now and say, okay, well, we introduced a new tool into our workflow. So yeah, those distractions are going to continue to happen. But week over week, if I continue to see these same issues, then I can take a step back and say, okay, what's happening here exactly? Why is everyone coming to me necessarily to solve these problems? And is there something that I can put into place to alleviate all of these distractions that are happening week to week? The last step to this process, both having our schedule, color coding what's happening during the week, is I like to take a look at the end of the week and track and add up how much time I'm spending doing different things. In this case, I really want to pay attention to how much time am I spending in meetings and how much time is being spent on distractions that are happening during the week as well. Now that I'm at the end of my week, I've gone ahead and added up the 2 different things that I'm paying attention to. How much time am I spending in meetings throughout the week? And how much time am I spending on distractions throughout the week as well? So I'm just using a Post-it note, but of course you can always use the extra space in your notebook if you want to. Set up a Monday through Friday and went ahead and added the time right underneath of there. To make things a little bit easier for you, if you'd like, I've gone ahead and created a printable for you that has examples for each of the days in your schedule. We also have included a master key for all your color coding, as well as a really nice and easy template that you can use to track everything that's going on and the amount of time you're spending on the things that are important for you. You can find that link in the descriptions below and also over on the blog post at archerandolive.com. Let me know in the comments below if you think something like this would be helpful for you. I always love hearing from the community on different things that we're doing to pay attention to what's happening at work or how we're utilizing our time. I'll talk with you next time, friends. See ya.